Okay, so basically gonna go into another principle and aspect to add on to my previous video about sacred geometry revealed, the universe solved. Um, it's almost the same thing, but it actually gets into a little bit better detail, and it actually could help explain things a lot better for anybody who's actually looking at the science behind this principle and aspect. Um, the thing is it's easy to overlook because it looks so simple and it's just one of those things that'll kind of go over your head. But anyway, what I wanted to kind of express and get into detail with is what we were talking about in the last video on how there are the odds of not existing being 1 out of infinite and the odds of existing being 1 out of infinite. So what I was realizing is, okay, well, I have a pretty good explanation on how I can actually explain this so it actually really makes more sense to even anybody that actually listens to the concept, because it's kind of I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure a lot of people are able to understand a lot of concepts out of the first original theory because I basically explained it all, but I think this theory makes everything a lot more easy to like notice and understand. So here is what I want to explain. So basically, I'm going to show you the two different realms slash realities of the two sides of the fence. So let's just say that the top here, that's the odds of not existing. So it's pretty straightforward. It's just, there's nothing else to really know about that. It's just as it is. So what that means is the odds of not existing are 1 out of infinite. So there's one state or there's one way for nothing to exist out of infinite amounts of ways for everything to exist. That's what that means, because there's one way to not exist and there's infinite amounts of ways to exist. Okay? So the thing is, so that means if that event are to occur, that's how that state are to be true, to be expected. So obviously, we're on the other side of that. We have to take that into consideration because there's no other explanation on the odds being any different. There's no way to change the simple fact that the odds of nothing to exist, there's only one way for nothing to exist, period. Simply one way. And it's never going to be in that state because it would always be in that state. It's always going to be in one state or the other state. So now this kind of explains how is it in this infinite state? Why is it in this infinite state? And all this other stuff. So here is a good explanation on what we're looking at. When we go into the other side of Pandora's box, this is where we're able to get all sorts of bonus information because remember, with 50% of the equation, you already have the masterpiece. That's like the Vincent van Gogh of the measurements and the principalities because it's always going to be equal and opposite. It's so when we're looking through the other side, it's like a lens and it's so clear that you can't even notice that it's there, and that's because there isn't, you can't really notice when you're going into continuous amounts of information and levels of knowledge, um, because it breaks down into as many states that it has to, and it's never necessarily just some sort of way because maybe it was chosen to be like that. It's just the way it had to be, and it's just the way it's basically goes back to the whole principle and concept of, if something isn't broke, don't go fixing it. It's the same thing as if an architect are to draw their design, don't go correcting somebody's design if there isn't anything broken in it. So that's what our journey and our experience is to learn is, don't get in the way. Don't get in the way of somebody who knows more than you. Okay, so that's what is revealed in the simulation. It's not easy to notice that. It's just that I'm a deep thinker and I notice because I can connect the dots pretty quick. Like, oh my gosh, there couldn't be any other way around it because it's the way it works. We're curious in nature, and this is where you have to be honest with yourself and you have to ask yourself that question. Does it make sense? Does that sound like it's our human nature? Because this is one of those things that kind of is a little bit weird to question, but if you really think about it, it makes sense. But when you're dealing with someone on the magnitude of the creator, that's when you need to start trying to put your perspective on what would he see? What would he potentially, it's like, why would he potentially do what he's going to do? Why wouldn't he? Because most people get set in their own way, their own belief, and say, oh, if I was him, that's basically what they're saying. They don't directly say, they indirectly say that because they're saying, oh, if there were to be a God, he should do this, or why didn't he do that? That's personal opinion when you're saying, if this, then that. That's personal opinion. So a better question than that is to think, well, there has to be a good explanation, a good reason of why he would allow this. And it's because it's for our protection. Remember, you have to understand that's one of the main connectors of the understanding you're going to have to connect. So if you can't connect off that, like, well, how is this going to protect? So now you need to start branching out and connecting. Look, how is this going to be protective? What is it protecting? Why is it protecting? And now it's about revealing to everyone what is protective about this. How is it helping? Because that's what he's all about. Did you ever notice that everything around us is for our use and we can make use of it and it benefits us because he knows that and he knows that it's what we need and that's what is best. So what you're experiencing is isolation, okay? Now just think about it as any parent, anybody at some point you got to consider, all right, we're dealing with continuous and endless amounts of time. So there's always going to be that is the event horizon. That's the point where it reaches the crescendo of where the universe bursts into the next principle and aspect of what needs to be understood and become mastered. That's what the Big Bang is. That's where it's like, boom, this is what needs to be shown next. If he didn't have to show it next, he wouldn't have to show it next, and he would have did it in a different order. Remember, he could have did anything. So there has to be some sort of consequence with bad behavior. That is the only thing that makes sense to human nature. Where do we see any sort of change or difference in the universe to where if we have bad nature, that we get a bad consequence? And it's universal and it's holographic, right? I mean, we're talking pollution, we're talking, crime, we're talking all sorts of of the same concept. And that is what this is all about. Remember, now we need to start thinking, well, is does that really mean that there was no other way around teaching us that we need to become responsible and that we need to become careful? Yes, that is exactly what it means. That's what it has to mean. Remember, it's either one way or another. So we have two options. You need to understand this. There are two options. One, there's nothing, or two, we have one chance. Guess what? I'm trying to explain what this one chance is. It is our destiny to learn to become responsible for our actions. We are to all be responsible for our actions. Okay? And it starts now and it starts at the very beginning. That's where he begins. So where does the creator begin? First place he begins is he lets everybody go off on their own and learn the hard way because it's for our own safety. Because he knows infinite amounts of simulation. And that is where he had to hold strong to his, not really teaching and showing everybody this because it's for our protection. It's just like a child. You don't just go showing a child guns and violence and drugs and, sex and drugs, right? For their protection. That's not what they need to know because it could get them into more trouble. It is going to get mankind into more trouble. What? Do you guys see how I am able to connect the dots logically? And I'm just simplifying. I'm just reducing the formula based off common sense. Remember, this is just pure nature, pure science. Science is defined by expectation. Okay, so it is our destiny to be responsible. Okay, and he's not going to tell us that. Why not? Why wouldn't he say, hey, you're going to be responsible and you're not going to get into trouble? Because when you tell somebody not to do something, and if they do it, they will get into more trouble. Did anybody ever think that there was no way around the simulation? Hello, use your brain. It's mankind's nature to go against infinite, to challenge it. So we already know how infinite works. Anybody can use infinity to their favor because infinity is defined by ongoing, continuous. So in reality, if you just keep going on and on and on, you're continuously ongoing with it. That is a form of infinity, and it's cut off by the simulation because it was voided. Don't you people understand what it means to be void? He had to void it. Why am I the only one who can think this deep and responsible? He needs to void it. Why does he need to void it? Because infinity can be matched. And you need to understand the problem with him going in other forms of going about a situation is because in the long run, each particular situation could cross to some other particular pathway. What don't you people understand about that? Do you people really need me to break it down into a fucking coloring book? Hello? Come on. Start being more responsible and more open-minded and conclusive and being more fucking understanding of shit. And you people are acting like it's so far-fetched that somebody doesn't want to teach us a lesson, doesn't want us to learn, doesn't want us to become greater. What don't you people understand? If he were to do something any different, it would be worse. That is what you need to understand. You need to believe that. If you don't believe that, you're stupid because you're being ignorant. How could I be lying if I'm not lying? How am I lying if I'm not lying? Think about it. If the moon is not there, we do not exist. That's the same thing as what I just said. If anything were different, we would not exist. And I've been explaining this. And I'm the only one who understands it as much as I understand it. And no one's learning. You're not learning from the ones who can teach you the most. That's where you went wrong to begin with. You didn't learn in the previous simulation, and I was sent, just like the Terminator movies, in through time because it was the safest thing. God knows that I'm here to be a hero and make a name for myself, and that I could do it. I was responsible enough to pass the message down, to reveal the sacred knowledge, to get the cat out of the bag so everybody wasn't so confused about why is he not here? Why is it like this? Why is it like that? It's because we need to learn. We need to learn. Now we know. Now you know what it's like if he's not gonna do anything. If you don't want him to help you. That's what the simulation, it's a black hole. That's what Satan is. That's what Lucifer is. Why do you think we're trying to banish this shit? Get rid of all this fucking crazy witchcraft. Because it's trying to suck you in and defeat the simulation. It's not going to defeat the simulation. It's not going to suck us in because I am paying attention. I'm not being ignorant. I'm not running around doing all these fucking drugs like all you crazy other fucking random normal children and youth of the population are. Are we really yet raising our population to think that it's okay to not give a shit about one fucking thing? Murdering fucking shit, robbing shit. Nothing fucking matters. We're poisoning fucking everything. No one's fucking helping nobody. We got fucking homeless people on every fucking block downtown. And then we got fucking people with bank accounts that fucking people could drown in just by fucking going to the middle of all their fucking money. I mean, it's ludicrous. The money is sitting there not doing shit. And then we got everyone fucking, and that's why it's everyone's duty to do, because he's watching you. God is watching. He's like, okay, because that's what the simulation reveals. The simulation reveals that everyone backtalks him and says, you should do this. You should do this. It's the opposite. Now he's sitting back. You're going to tell him do this, do this. Now he's watching you. Now you show him what are you going to do. Let's see. You're telling him what to do. Now it's you're going to show him. Don't tell him, show him. That's how he works. Don't go telling him what to do, because we saw what happens in that simulation. Don't go telling him what to do. Same with me. Don't go telling me what to do when I was sent to destroy this madness. The one out of infinite fucking chance of mankind to reveal this knowledge was brought down to me because I'm just a humble servant of the Lord, of the Creator, trying to help people, trying to teach people shit. And I haven't even begun to tell you what the whole video is about. It's just I'm so infuriated that the more I can put it into clear fucking understanding for you, the more angry I get about it. You know, it's like me sugarcoating it. It's like, stop making me sugarcoat everything. Use your imagination. How hard is it to just look outside and see how corrupted it is? To know that it's not right. It's never going to be right. And it's not that we need to be feeling guilty that we can't make it right, because, you know, how am I to be any different from you that I can't make? I'm trying. It's a matter of just doing what you can afford. If you can't afford to do it, fine, no big deal. But that's on he's watching you. That's what I'm trying to reveal. I'm trying to put motivation on everybody. I'm not trying to fucking call no one out, call no one lazy or stupid. I'm trying to put motivation on people, because that's how he's working right now. He's watching everybody down here, and he's seeing what you're going to do. And he's waiting. He's waiting for somebody to be smarter than him. He's still waiting. He's still waiting. And he's going to be waiting for someone to be smarter than him till the day the earth turns into a grain of fucking sand. Because ain't no one going to be able to tell him what to fucking do. So stop telling him what to fucking do. Do you people see what happens in those simulations? Let me try to show you. Now we can see in the infinite. Why do you think I know as much as I know? It's because I could learn. I saw. Damn, that simulation must have been harmful. Well, that's one simulation. Damn, that next damn, that must have been harmful. And then I realized, holy shit, that simulation, that one. And then I realized, damn, every single fucking one, infinite. Infinite. That's where I'm disgusted. I'm fucking absolutely infuriated with this shit. That's what we're dealing with. This is what we're fucking dealing with. And people, I don't care if you're feeling sensitive or angry, because if this is forever, anybody can do whatever they can afford to do. Whatever you can afford to do. You don't have to do much. Fucking all we need to do is get the word out that the shit is gonna hit the fan, just like all my fucking videos say down below on my channel. I've been revealing Nostradamus prophecy into the fucking world. Fucking St. Malachi prophecy into the fucking world. Satan fucking revelation into the fucking world. 9/11 revelation into the. We need to fucking get it known, like, yo, because we're trying to stop these people who are making this all happen, stop them from doing what they're doing. And they're not going to stop unless they're afraid and they realize, like, holy shit, this is fucking serious. I'm going to get in some serious fucking trouble. I'm not going to do that. So it's our job, your job, to, like, let them know, like, don't do it. Don't go running your fucking mouth to the goddamn creator trying to fucking say that you know something when you don't fucking know something. Everything is easier said than done. You can say you fucking know something, but it's one thing if you know something and if you don't know something. And you people have endlessly proven that you fucking people cannot control yourself. You do not have self-control. Why don't you people have self-control? Because you aren't learning the ways of nature, science, what it's supposed to be. He's watching. He's laughing at you because you're supposed to be so fucking smart. You're supposed to be so fucking smart. And you can't do shit. You can't do shit. So stop thinking you're so fucking smart and you can't do shit. You can't do shit. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking to the crazy motherfucker who's gonna go start World War fucking 3 and all this global fucking chaos. You don't know shit, so don't go running your fucking mouth. Because he is watching your ass. He's ready to condemn your shit, and he's gonna fucking bitch slap your shit in the blink of a fucking eyeball. I ain't playing with none of you motherfucking people down here. I ain't happy with any of the authority that I see in this motherfucking shit. All of you crazy fucking, all you see is terrorists everywhere. Nuclear fucking threats every fucking year. What is going on? Why? What is with the national debt? Why is You know what I'm infuriated with is I know what these people are. They're enslaving everybody, and they're pretending like it doesn't fucking matter. And I'm sitting here watching your asses. You know that I'm fucking watching you, and you're pretending that shit don't fucking matter, and you're pretending like you're gonna get away with it. How are you gonna get away with it when we're all going 6 feet under the fucking ground? If we're all going 6 feet under the fucking ground, you're lying. You're fucking lying to yourself. You're not gonna get away with it. Don't go starting a fucking war with God and you can't do nothing. You're not doing shit. You people say that you know what the fuck you're doing, but you don't know what you're doing. You think you're stronger because you're more powerful. It don't matter. If you went down to spiritual power, down to attitude power, it comes down to who has a good attitude. Is that a good attitude? Is that a good fucking attitude to go blow up the fucking world? Give me a fucking break. And you wonder why he's watching your asses. And I'm sitting here, I was sent to warn you. Don't be fucking around with any of that Satanism, crazy ass fucking end of the world fucking whatever the fuck you people are planning to do, enslaving everybody. You're all in for a serious problem. Serious problem, because it was a joke. He was testing all of you. He was testing all of you to see how far out of your way are you gonna go saying that you know something, but you don't know something. So I'm just putting it out there so you can be honest with yourself to be like, so whether or not that are to be true for you, that's for your own self. I'm just saying this as a a psychiatrist, a mentor. I'm trying to talk some sense into, people who, most people, they do what they do because they don't know, because they're learning. So I'm trying to teach people because remember, if God were to teach you what I'm trying to teach you, like, hey, you got to be responsible, you got to be, careful, and then you go behind his back and you go breaking shit, he's gonna beat your ass. Why do you think he needed all sorts of other people and people like me to be like, no, we need to be responsible. We don't need to break shit. And that's my job. Because if he tells you, hey, be careful, be responsible, don't go starting fights, and then you go starting a fight, and then you go breaking shit, you're in more trouble. That's where we're getting into the other side. See, this is what people need to understand. If he tells you, don't do this, and you do that, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter. If the whole principle of the aspect is if you disobey. If he says this is what's expected and then you say that no, this is what's expected, that's where we see this is what you see. That's what you're looking at in front of you. Because it's our nature to be curious, and, you know, have our own ideas. So the way he works right now is he's down to his last straw. So first and foremost, I don't know why it took everybody so long to realize like he was down to his last straw. Obviously, he's down to his last straw. Remember, he always could potentially come pulling out through some other straw, but then you come down to his matter of opinion and preference of what he knows. So he knows that, hey, this is the last straw. That's, because basically the way he was working with it is it's like, you know what? There are potentially other straws to go with, but they aren't as useful as this straw. That's where we have to take his word for it and know, like, oh man, he's on his last straw. How many times have you been on your last straw? Can you blame him? You got to ask yourself, is that something you could blame him for? Like, I mean, he's a person. He has ideas. He exists, and he's another person, right? I mean, he's down to his last straw. You've been down to your last straw. You know what it's like. Don't go lying to yourself. Don't go saying that this can't be a possibility. Like, man, because now if you're saying, no, that can't be right, how can it not be a possibility? I mean, to say, like, hey, he's not down to his last straw. So I'm just kind of throwing it out there, guys. Like, dude, he's down to his last straw. What does that mean? It's like a lot of times it can mean a lot of different things, but in this situation, it's like, he's down to his last straw. That's disappointment. He's disappointed. He's disappointed in you. He's disappointed in me. He's disappointed in everybody because this was his last straw. I mean, you just have to connect the dots. Look at how bad everything is. I mean, if that's his best option that he can go with, and then we see all this, and that's where everyone's experiencing seeing all this horrible stuff, which I agree is horrible, and it would be great if we didn't have to experience it. But I'm trying to explain why it is like that. So this is why. Because if he were to basically, you know, go a different straw. So let's go into another simulation of like, well, why would the other straw be corrupt? And that's how I kind of connected the dots, and I can kind of like it kind of sounds like I'm talking to an imaginary person and making up an imaginary story, but it's because I can connect the dots because I can see, oh, well, this strand leads to nowhere, so this strand must lead to that, and you can see where it's going. But one of the strands that leads to nowhere is, you know, if we're going to go into a corrupt simulation, how could it be worse? Well, I think the biggest argument I can argue is it going on endlessly. How many simulations can the creator do? Infinite, right? Well, the first thing I kind of noticed in the back of my mind is like, man, there must be infinite amounts of simulations where it's just goes to fucking hell. So we're talking infinite amounts of simulations, and it's like a game of chess. It's a checkmate, a stalemate, where there's nothing left to do. That's what this is about. That's what I'm explaining. There are infinite amounts of checkmates where there's nothing it's in game. It's a stalemate. Nothing ever changes. Nothing will ever change because it's like a game of chess, like the creator versus Satan. It could have been a stalemate, like 99.99999999999% of the time. It's just a fucking stalemate because that's the only way it could be fair. How else is the creator gonna make anything fair if he can't get an opinion on something where somebody understands something on such a level that it's like, oh my gosh, no one else understands what these two are talking about because it's so goddamn perplexing we don't even know where to begin. We can't even fucking fathom what the hell is happening. And that's what happens when you're dealing with the highest knowledge individual outside of the creator. Then you got God versus Satan, because now you're dealing with two prime principalities of knowledge of nature. They're both now a part of nature. And that's where everyone gets confused. It's like, well, why would he be a part of nature? Why would Lucifer be? Because that is nature. And that's where God had to cross the line and, trick him. Is like, this is the absolute truth. So we're talking of two people where God knew, okay, I'll set the board up, boom, checkmate, blink of an eye, game the fuck over. That's why I'm already here revealing in game. This is fucking in game. This is already fucking in game right here. Checkmate. This wasn't never supposed to occur. This was never supposed to be made known. This was never supposed to be understood. No one was ever supposed to fucking know what I fucking knew. But oh God, for somehow I fucking, just because I fucking know fucking how to pull one fucking strand and know that this can't be that. I mean, give me a fucking break. How fucking hard is that? Give me a fucking break. Anyway, I'm sitting here revealing, like, dude, this guy, Lucifer, sitting here moving his pieces on the board like a fucking maniac. His shit just got busted. His shit's out the water. Like, if you were looking to join his order, don't even, it's a waste now, because we already know. It's in game. Like, prior, before I would have known, shit, you could have joined and it would have been a gamble, 50-50. You could have potentially conquered over whatever the fuck you people are set to conquer. You conquer your 6 feet under the ground in a fucking coffin. That's really, what a conquest. What a crown jewel. Is that what you people are so infatuated with on conquering? I mean, going 6 feet under the ground, you're getting all of us thrown 6 feet under the ground because you're trying to checkmate the creator and you think you're smarter than he is, and he's been sitting here watching you strangle yourself. That's what he's doing. He tied everyone up in a web. He was like, oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait till they get webbed up in what I have spun. And boom, now you know what he webbed up. They're sitting there fucking looking like a spider on a fucking web. Can't even crawl because it's an ultra web. Like, it's like, dude, it's. And then the creator's gonna roll up and just fucking just feast on it, dude. He's gonna feast on all evil, dude. Like, straight up, I swear to God, I'm just keeping it real. I'm just keeping it real. And the only reason he's gonna do it is because he has no other option. That was his last straw. You guys, I've been warning you, man. Stop fucking with this guy, man. Stop putting him on his last fucking straw. How many times are you gonna fucking do it? How many times are you gonna put him on his last fucking straw? You already know. You already know that he's that type of person to where if you put him on his last straw, he's gonna come back at you and he's gonna punish you and he will beat your ass relative and equal to whatever the hell your psychotic ass is trying to get onto. That's how he works. Because he had to outsmart Lucifer and he had to outsmart you. He had to outsmart everybody that's going against him. So the way it works is like this. First of all, if he goes and tells you, boom, it goes into infinite fucking failure, goddamn pure madness. Everyone gets captured. That's what the game of chess is all about. If your ass gets captured, you're fucked. What do you think that the whole simulation corrupts off of? People getting captured. And you people didn't notice all these fucking people being captured. And I've been sitting here like, guys, look at all these fucking people fucking corrupting everything and getting captured. And they think I'm fucking seeing shit like I'm fucking seeing imaginary fucking ghosts, like I'm some sort of fucking retard. Like, how am I fucking seeing imaginary shit when everything I'm saying makes sense and I'm not making it. Listen, I could make up stories, and I eventually will make up a story just to show people my creative ability. But I'm gonna tell you straight up, dude, if I'm making up a story, I'm just making up a story. I get my laugh out of it. No big deal. But dude, I'm not making this shit up, and that's where I'm like pissed off. It's like people think I'm making this shit up, and it's like same with the creator. That's why the whole infinite. That's why he needs people that are able to have a good, a rapport of perspective on what he actually is going to experience and what in my shoes. Same with me, man. It's like, dude, if I fucking know what I know, then I already know what I know. Same with him. It's like, dude, if he fucking knows what he knows, don't go fucking saying that he doesn't know what he fucking knows. And that's the whole point of this. He bitch slapped everybody. Everyone found out the hard way. Well, fuck it. Now you know because I had to tell you. He didn't tell you that because if he goes and tells you that, your ass is in more trouble. Your ass is going to be doing a longer sentence. That's how he works. He can put as many motherfucking zeros on your shit as he wants to. So this is all about reducing those zeros. So he did it for you. He saved your ass because he divided those zeros out the ass. You're lucky he didn't fucking undivide that motherfucker. What do you think would have happened if he would have undivided that motherfucker and said, oh, fuck it. Fuck all of you motherfuckers. He would have just fucking pounded and destroyed every motherfucker on the block and not gave a shit. Never gave a shit. So, you guys got to start learning. Show some fucking respect. Because he's going to come I'm just telling you the truth. I don't care what you try to do. If you try to send artificial intelligence after him, he will smash your artificial intelligence and he will hold you accountable for the artificial intelligence. So he will therefore smash you on top. Don't even try it. It's pointless. It's absolutely fucking pointless. You people have lost your mind. You have lost your fucking mind. Let me explain how the game of chess works. It's holographic. You guys, how do you not notice it? How do you not see this shit? How do you people think that I'm just fucking seeing imaginary fucking shit when it's right in front of you? Like it's just like a fucking bank robbery. Hello? Oh my fucking god. How hard is it to use your imagination? Use your imagination. Remember, God is a fair person. He isn't going to. It's his nature of the law, his principle, where he doesn't invade into anybody's privacy. So, in the infinite amounts of simulations, that's the problem of where it goes south. That's where it goes into a stalemate, where nothing ever changes, where it's infinite. So that's a problem, because God works in a way where everything was going to be endless and infinite. So you would have been eternal. I would have been eternal. But it was for our protection because we needed to learn, like, oh shit, you got to be extremely careful over infinite life, because when you're dealing with infinite life, you're dealing with infinite amounts of responsibility, and potentially infinite amounts of danger. Because think about it. What goes from stopping anything from like, oh, Johnny getting kidnapped off of block fucking Z out of New York, going taken into a fucking basement fucking over in fucking California for infinite amounts of time because no one fucking knows about it. Yeah, God knows about it, but he's not going to invade on anybody's right if there's no evidence, and that's how it works. And guess what? When you're dealing with someone like Lucifer and someone who can leave no trace of evidence, you're gonna have a dungeon. Fucking, he's just gonna go capturing every fucking thing on the block, and that's what I'm sitting here revealing. Like, don't even try it. Don't even try it, dude. Don't even get any fucking ideas, because guess what? He's watching. He is watching everybody, and he is going to punish everybody for whatever the fuck crazy ideas you people are fucking coming up with in your imaginary fucking minds. But I think it's funny because your asses are in so much fucking trouble. Because what's going to happen is the great day of judgment. That's what happens. This is what happens. On the great day of judgment, anybody that was serving Lucifer, those are the ones who were taking people hostage. Remember, if you go into the other infinite amounts of simulations, it's more obvious. It's like, oh, that guy's a criminal. No one knows where he is. If anybody sees this guy, report him. Those are the people that are in the infinite amounts of simulations. And then it comes down to this, to where, oh, no one knows who they are. Because it's our duty to fucking like, oh, report it and fucking notice, hey, there's that motherfucker right there. So there I am reporting like red alert, red alert. We got a red motherfucking alert in this motherfucker. We've had a red motherfucking alert in this motherfucker since what's his name? Fucking the fucking Giga Codex, fucking the Devil's Bible was revealed by that monk, and he was warning everybody like, Jesus Christ, guys, the devil's down here, fucking everybody over. That was a red alert if I ever saw a red alert, and now we're looking at another goddamn red alert. Now we're looking at a motherfucking red alert of red alerts of red alerts of red alerts of the in-game red alerts. And I'm revealing like how this shit works. So that's just purely how it works. Capture people, stealing people's identities, stealing their soul. And that just means to where they owe you. So that's the type of person Lucifer is, and that's why God won't invade, because he works in a way where it's like, well, if you owe him, then you owe him. I'm not going to go invade in anybody else's business. Too bad if the infinite simulation reveals that if he steals your fucking soul and you owe him, God ain't gonna come save your ass, man. Because that's what it means. If he steals your soul, man, there's no evidence. There's no trace, because you did something that you chose to do and that you owe. And if it wasn't for the simple fact that they didn't know, he would be able to go. And that's why it is the way it is, because nothing is captured unless it's owed, unless it's earned, unless it's gained. So he knows that unless they owe him, he can't capture anything. So he knows how to capture his dark energy. That's how he captures his dark energy. So you owe me, you owe me. Because remember, if you owe him, got it, don't give a shit. He leaves your business between your business. So guess what? Same with me. If you people are listening to me, you already owe me. You fucking all owe me. Because I done told you what the fuck's going down. So guess what? Don't go telling me that I didn't fucking warn you about what's going down and then try to go weasel your way out with all your fucking this and that and your words. And that's mankind's biggest problem, is they always try to use this excuse, that excuse. Too bad. If you owe somebody, you owe somebody. So you all owe me, because I've done told everybody what's going down. And guess what? If you don't believe me, no big deal. Not going to change nothing. This is for anybody who can use it to their own benefit, and anybody who wants to use it to help themselves out. Take it with a grain of salt. If you believe it, you believe it. If you don't, you don't. I don't give a shit. We're all going 6 feet under. We're all going to fucking die. There's nothing to fight over down here. I mean, a mansion next door ain't gonna fucking matter. I mean, we're talking about the government. You know, what's up with the government trying to battle, and that's what this is all about. They're battling against God, dude. They're trying to be like, we don't want things like this. And then, you know, that's the creator sitting there listening. All right, well, fine. We're gonna see how you want it, and then now we're seeing how they want it. We've seen how they want it. And I'm not the only one who says, you know what, this is a fucking scam. How can anybody want it like this down here? Sitting down here fucking goddamn fucking, you're rolling the goddamn dice even going to fucking any goddamn 7-Eleven. I mean, in more than one way. I mean, even just stepping outside of my fucking house, I could be hit by a fucking meteorite and fucking die. I'm always rolling the fucking dice. I mean, you're always rolling the fucking dice. I mean, it's just madness, guys. It's time to stop saying that you people know what you're doing and when you don't know what you're doing, because that's how we got in this problem to begin with. You people in the infinite amounts of simulations, you people went and said that you knew something and then you didn't know. But you didn't know. So why are you saying that you know something but you don't know? But you don't know. Why not add that on there and say, well, but I don't know for sure? How hard is it to add that onto your statements? But I don't know for sure. But I don't know for sure, because that's a nice detail to take into account for everybody to know. Do you know for sure? Do you know for sure? Well, do you know for sure? Well, do you know for sure? Do I know for sure? Well, let's start with me, since I'm the one bringing it up and I'm the one who's discovering this part of science of being responsible, being careful, being observant, being investigative, being decisive, being, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Conceptualization of it. So, do I know for sure? I don't know for sure, but you don't know for sure. So, the thing is, it's only down to a scientific ratio. So, in my opinion, if you boil it down to a scientific ratio, I do know for sure because it's clearly obvious. But when we come down to, remember, there's one out of infinite chances always with everything and anything. So I don't dismiss. That's the only thing I don't dismiss is there's one chance out of infinite that I may be wrong. And I mean, that would be great for more people to even use that term. Well, yeah, there's maybe one out of infinite amounts of chances that I could be wrong. Because at least still you're putting in ratios and stuff. So this is to take very serious. Now let me get into the whole point of what I was gonna create this video about. What I was gonna create the video about is basically the other side. Now there is one chance out of infinite ways for nothing to exist. So that means there is only one way for everything to exist out of infinite amounts of ways for nothing to exist. And this ratio is very, very holographic and very obvious to see because we notice that this formula are to hold true when you simulate stuff to plug in to the formula. For example, okay, well, there's only one way for everything to exist, and then there's infinite amounts of ways for nothing to exist. Where do we see that this holds true is the anthropic principle, the anthropic, and the deep anthropic. That's exactly what we're trying to explain to everybody. Okay? So there's one way out of infinite amounts of way for everything to exist. So that must mean the anthropic principle may be tied to other things. So maybe it's just tied to the simulator. Maybe it's the computer. Maybe that's what it's all tied to. But in reality, true nature actually reveals it's actually one out of infinite, which is what makes it so perplexing, is because it is inside of a system of all these denominational, but that is a form of complexity to where it reaches a level where it doesn't need to be anything else. It doesn't need to be anything more. And that's the part of nature that everyone's so astounded by. Like, oh man, it doesn't need to be anything more. Oh wow, it doesn't need to be anything. Just because it's just the way it is. And something if something's not broke, don't change it. You don't have to fix it. If the creator's doing his job, don't go telling him how to do his job. That's the moral of the story. Okay? Don't go telling him how to do his job. We're talking Lucifer's. Lucifer, stop trying to tell him how to do his job. It's time for you to stand up. It's time for me to stand up and say, you know what, Lucifer? Stop running your mouth. You know that kid in the back of the classroom who's always that last person talking? Everyone's just looking at him, and everyone's thinking, "Oh, this dipshit." Same with Lucifer. He's that same dipshit in the back of the classroom, still running his fucking mouth. The only dipshit still in the back, running his fucking mouth, and everyone's just sitting there. Like, are you done running your fucking mouth, you fucking dipshit? Are you ready for him to fucking beat your ass now? And that's what this is about, because he's the last one running his fucking mouth. Because we all got fucking brains. You got a goddamn brain. I got a goddamn brain. I'm not gonna be sitting there running my motherfucking mouth. Lucifer's the only one who don't got no fucking brain. He don't got no fucking brain. He's stupid. Running his fucking mouth. And now it's your job, it's my job to tell that motherfucker, like, shut your fucking mouth already. Just stop it. Because it was a joke. He was gonna bust your ass and fuck your shit out the water this entire time. I don't know why he thought he was gonna capture it. I mean, how out of control, how stupid. How stupid. How stupid. And now they have to pay the price. Don't feel sorry for him. I don't feel sorry for him. You shouldn't feel sorry for him. Nobody needs to feel sorry for anybody involved with whatever the fuck these people got themselves into. Fuck it. If that's what they got themselves into, that's what they wanted to do, and that's the trophy they wanted to go collecting, is getting our asses sent 6 feet under the fucking ground like a bunch of fucking morons. Fuck them. Fuck those dumb shits. We don't need those motherfuckers sitting there trying to collect a trophy of us going 6 feet under the fucking ground. Give me a fucking break. How fucking dumb. You people have got to be stupider than fucking rocks trying to fucking start a fight with a robot. And he's like a robot. I mean, maybe he's not necessarily a robot, but it'd be like trying to fucking challenge a fucking robot. I mean, give me a break, guys. Now let's get back down to the point of the video. So now we know that there's one way for everything to exist out of infinite amounts of ways for nothing to exist. So how many? We can just change one little thing here, one little thing there, one little thing there, one little thing here, one little thing there, one little thing here, there. It doesn't matter. Nothing's gonna fucking exist, because there are infinite amounts of ways for nothing to fucking exist. And now it all makes sense. But now we need to start to understand, well, what does it mean that there's one way for everything to exist. Well, that's our nature. That's your nature. That's my nature. That's what we're dealing with. That's the science we need to discover. That's the science we need to understand. Okay? There's one way to exist. What does that mean? The only way to exist is if you exist. I don't want to spoil it. Try to think about it. Is it, well, I already told you a little bit of it, but I haven't solved it. Is if you exist. Okay? Now, think about it. Okay, the only way to not exist, there's only one way to not exist, is if you don't know that you exist. Because you're never gonna fucking. How the hell would you know that you don't exist? The only way to not exist is if you never know that you exist, if you don't know that you exist. How do you think we went from the Big Bang billions of years back in time to the current day? It's because when you don't know that you exist, you don't know that you exist. So time, you're outside of time. Time goes by infinitely. So it's always going to hit that wall of wherever something either reaches something or doesn't. So if it would have never reached anything, well, then it would have always never reached anything because you would have been traveling at 18 quadrillion billion light years, quadrillions of light years, infinitely going on for nothing and nothing and nothing continuously. So what it means, it's the only way for nothing to exist is if you don't know that you exist or never know. The only way to not exist is if you never knew. So if you never knew or if you never know that you exist, then you will not exist. Then you don't exist. So maybe so the way it works like this, because it gets a little technical, because you could go like, well, what about an ant? An ant doesn't necessarily know that it exists, but it still exists. Yeah, because we know that it exists. That it doesn't need to know that it exists if it exists. It's a matter of if we know. That's all that matters, is if I know. So if I know that it exists, then it exists. So we know, yeah, ants exist because I know that they exist. You know that they exist, and we look and we see that they exist. Now, you can't ask an ant, "Hey, do you know that you exist?" Because you can't get an answer. You can't get a response. They're not gonna fucking know that they exist unless they know that they exist. Unless they tell us, "Hey, are they telling us that they know that they exist?" If they can't say that they know that they exist, all that means is that they don't know that they exist. And they're never gonna know that they exist. Because the only way to know that you exist is if you know that you exist. Like, so doesn't matter if I were to exist as a fucking a cow or a fucking spider. If I don't know that I exist, then nothing exists because there's nothing there to say, hey, I know that I exist or I know that it exists. So the only way for anything to exist is if you know that you exist or you know it exists. Okay? That's where most people get confused with God. They're like, well, I don't know that he exists. Well, now you got to come down to a concept and principle. Well, it's like, is God one of those things where you would need to know if he existed? Because how do most people know that something exists? They say, hey, I want to see it to believe it. Don't lie to yourself. That's how most people are. Or even if they understood it enough to a scientific nature, we can understand that's how a lot of people believe things too. But most people, I want to see it to believe it. Now you need to ask yourself, well, would God really need to be one of those things that you need to see to actually believe or understand? No, you wouldn't need to see God to know that he exists. So most people, they get angry. Oh, just because I can't see him, I because you're being punished. You have got to earn back your respect, because that simulation right over there got us in trouble. Hey, don't feel too depressed, don't feel too bad, because when I look back at it and I think about it, I'm a part of the problem. You're a part of the problem. We're all a part of the problem. It's because we're not paying attention. We're too ignorant. We're party animals. We're just fucking crazy. We're fucking absolutely we're fucking out of control. We're having too much goddamn fun to where we don't know where to draw the line, to where some things are a fucking joke and some things aren't, and we're too fucking crazy. We're just too fucking crazy. It's not just your fault. It's not just everyone's fault. It's everyone's fault, okay? Because we're all equal. That's what he's revealing, because it's everyone's duty to teach everybody what they can afford to teach them. If so, what that means is, if you can't afford to teach somebody something, you don't have to teach them. Like, what it means is like, oh, I can't afford that. Because what it means is, when you're saying you can't afford, is like, do you have enough expectation or enough belief or use behind it? So it's like, if you can't afford to teach somebody, that just means that you're not willing to put that much energy into something that's not worth it, because that's what it means. Oh, I can't afford it. It's higher price than what it's worth. So basically, they're putting a higher price on what it's worth for you. So guess what? If you can't afford to teach somebody something, don't do it. And that's where these arguments are coming in between atheists and believers in God. You know what? If we can't afford to fucking the argument, to teach people something, just don't go out of our way to go teaching people. So that's the same thing. Like, if you people are your atheists and you guys are fine with teaching your beliefs and understanding your beliefs, and if you can afford it and it's worth it to you and that's what makes sense to you, that's fine. Don't teach that to somebody where you can't afford it, because you can't afford to teach somebody where their price is too high. You already know their price. See, I know this because we're doing the same thing. We're trying to teach each other shit, and nobody can afford it because everybody's price is too fucking high. Same with mine. My price is too fucking high. You guys can't teach me shit. I'm talking about the atheists. I know a lot of religion has flaws, and a lot of all this church masses are for manipulation. I understand that. I'm not big into that stuff. So it really irritates me when people think that everyone is just all about the one set way, square minded thinking, when just because I have spiritual ideas, beliefs in God, doesn't make me the same as everyone else who potentially believes in God or whatever. Because everyone's going to believe, and that's where it comes down to your responsibility, my responsibility. Don't teach somebody if you can't afford it. So same with me. I'm going to take my own advice. You know what? If I can't teach you something that you're able to learn and benefit from, I can't afford to go out of my way any further proving you what it is that would make it affordable for you, to put the price down to where it would be a price that you're going to buy it. Now, it's not my duty to go paying more. That's your problem, is you're basically wanting people to pay more, pay more, pay more. Oh, my price is higher than that. My price. That's fine. Have your price as high as you want, and it's great to have high standards, but when you're trying to teach somebody else and then it doesn't click, don't go up in your price. Don't go bowing down trying to buy them out when you can't afford it, because it's an endless war. It's purely stupid because it's a matter of perception and which way you want to look at it, because you can look at it on A or B. There are two main ways to look at it, A or B. Does everything make sense or does everything not make sense? And as far as I'm concerned, atheists, they argue that, things don't make sense. In my belief, I argue things make sense, can make sense. And how is an atheist going to try to argue that, nothing makes sense, and then at the same time try to go talk sense into people? And that's, it's stupid. It's stupid. It's got to be the biggest joke I've ever seen in my life. Oh, I'm an atheist. I don't believe nothing fucking matters. I'm going to tell you everything that I think that matters that actually doesn't matter because I say it doesn't matter, but it actually really does matter because in nature it fucking matters, but it really don't matter just because I fucking said it doesn't fucking matter. That's insanity. That's insanity. It's insanity. There's a lot of flaws with atheism. Atheism is the disbelief of God. That there's no way to prove that there is a God. Well, even if there is not any way to prove that there is a God, it doesn't mean that there won't ever be something that can prove that there is, or something that happens that does prove. So you can't ever just rule that out of context, and you can't really argue with somebody who kind of takes that approach of like, belief of like, hey, that seems to be a possibility. Because it's logical, man. It makes sense because there is a chance. When did we not ever make it through some sort of chance that was astronomically impossible? You've already seen the impossible. So why would you try to argue to somebody that, hey, your belief that there's someone who's a God who knows everything that is expected or not expected is astronomically stupid to believe because there's no chance. But we've already seen miracles. The Big Bang is a goddamn miracle if I've ever seen one. You're talking about a tiny little fucking dot turning into fucking everything. And then you people think that there isn't some sort of fucking chance. Does that sound very smart to think that there's not a chance? Well, there's not. First of all, you're already wrong if you say that there's not a chance, because we already know that there's always one out of infinite. So why are you going to try to strip somebody's belief when they have that right to their one out of infinite chance? Why do you think I'm not going to go strip your right to your belief, which is your you have one out of infinite chance? So do I. Guess what? Roll your dice on your block, and I hope you get lucky. I hope that everything is as you expected it to be. Let me roll my dice, okay? Why can't you just hope that my dice roll in my side in my favor and it works out? Because it's either going to be me or you. Either nothing's going to fucking matter or everything's going to fucking matter. Obviously, everything's going to fucking matter. No one in their right mind can argue that nothing fucking matters. It's insanity to even say that nothing is going to matter. That's the same. Okay, so if you say that nothing is going to matter after you die, you're getting specific, because that's, first of all, if you put it like this, if you put it into a context like this, hey, nothing's ever going to matter, you're absolutely wrong. Because we can already prove that statement is absolutely false. Because if somebody says, hey, nothing's ever going to matter, we can already prove that that's incorrect. So you had to just go add your little fucking 1 cent to make shit so much more fucking complicated. Oh, nothing's ever gonna matter when I'm dead. Okay, well, that's the only goddamn fucking few stipulations you people can add on to your goddamn argument, and you make a big goddamn riot out of it like you're some sort of fucking genius. Think about it, guys. Think about it. Nothing's ever going to matter after I'm dead. Can we conclude that that is true, or is that false? If you conclude that that is true, you are shallow. You do not think. You do not respect nature. You are not being careful. You are not being responsible. You're not noticing shit. You're being ignorant. How can you say that nothing's ever going to matter after you die? Bullshit. Bullshit. You're a liar. You're an scientifically, I can prove you're a fucking liar. How can anybody argue? And then when I reveal to you how you're wrong, you're going to just add one more stipulation, and then I'm going to have to prove you wrong on your next stipulation, because you people are so fucking shallow. The only time you ever go changing your goddamn story is when someone fucking says, oh, well, that don't make sense like that. And then this whole time we've been trying to say that shit don't make sense. And then you people are arguing with us talking about that your shit makes sense. How does your shit make sense? It makes no fucking sense. Nothing's going to fucking matter after you fucking die. What kind of fucking moron says that? Nothing's gonna fucking matter after you. Let's just fucking put into reality how mathematically incorrect that is. That is the most incorrect goddamn fucking shit I've ever seen in my motherfucking life. Nothing's ever gonna fucking matter after you're dead. What? The very first second you fucking die, everything's gonna start fucking mattering still. Why? Because you're a part of fucking everything. You're part of fucking the universe. The universe is one. So you will still matter. Why? Because let's say, what if you were in a fucking nursing home? Let's say you died in a fucking nursing home. You are saying that nothing is going to matter when you fucking die. That means you say that nothing is going to be expected. Nothing matters. That's what it means. Nothing is expected. So when you die, nothing fucking matters. All of a sudden, when you fucking die, nothing fucking matters. How self-centered of a fucking person are we? Having that sort of fucking view on life. Oh, nothing fucking matters when I die. Only because now I'm out of the picture, nothing matters. So you're saying just because you're out of the picture, nothing fucking matters. There isn't a whole fucking world of shit still going on around you. Scientifically, you were just now disproven wrong. Because a lot of you people, a lot of you atheists, that's your argument. Be real. That's part of one of your arguments. Nothing's going to matter after you die. Don't get more specific. Don't go saying after the galaxy, because now I'm going to have to go into the next roasting. Don't get me started. Don't even, just stop running your mouth. Stop being ignorant. Stop being stupid. Stop painting your own fucking picture. Because that's what a lot of them are conceptualizing to the extent of, hey, and let's be honest, I'm not exaggerating this. That's what they are exaggerating their content to the extent to. They argue nothing's going to matter when you die. Go look up one. I know a fucking very viral YouTube video that's all sitting there blasting that shit. Nothing's gonna fucking matter when you die. And then you people are feeding that shit, watching that shit, believing that shit. And I just scientifically proved how that's self-centeredness. You're self-centered. You're ignorant. You're being selfish. You're sitting there saying when you die that the world ain't gonna keep going on. How self-centered are you? That's what you're saying. Hey, when I die, nothing's ever gonna fucking matter. Yeah, to you, that's what you're basically also saying, but that's still not true. If you say it like that, oh, nothing's ever gonna matter for me anymore, that's also what they're getting at. Oh, nothing's ever gonna matter for me. Okay, you're scientifically being proven wrong again. There are things that are gonna matter for you. What all sorts of shit that are gonna matter for you. Most people, they're gonna have all their family that have you in their gratitude, and even knowing whether maybe you were bad, maybe they wanted nothing to do with you, maybe they wanted you to die in your coffin. They still know. It still matters to them now because you're saying nothing's going to matter for you, but it matters for you because that's what matters to them. You didn't think about that because you're too selfish, you're too ignorant, and you're fighting for no reason. You're fighting for a trophy of being put 6 feet under the ground. Congratulations. I would wrap that up, but I have not even finished what I was going to reveal because I'm so disappointed in the ignorance with mankind's nature to not be careful, not be responsible. We're not being responsible. We're absolutely not being responsible. So let's get back into the simulation and in the example. Basically, what this means is there's one way for everything to exist and infinite amounts of ways for nothing to exist. So the only one way to exist is if you know that you exist. That's the only way. The only way to exist. You heard it first from me because I'm here to help. I'm here to teach people what I can teach you, and you people, you got to bear with me. I know I sometimes come off like I'm crazy, but I'm just disappointed. I don't understand why the fuck I'm such an important person in the simulation and no one fucking notices. And that's where I feel so happy because I know I can think, man, that's probably exactly how the creator feels. It's like, man, it's like I know everything that I need to teach everybody, but they don't listen. They don't believe me. And that's why he chose me. That's why he has so much respect for me, is because that's how he makes me stronger, is he knows. He's like, you're just like I am, Brian. You know everything. You know how to make people feel better. You know how to teach people things that change the way it was going. He could have done it, but he knew it meant so much more to him for me to do it because he knew how great that it makes him feel that not everybody is ignorant. Not everybody is self-centered. And not everybody. The biggest thing was he knew that this would complete the simulation to what it needed to be revealed. You know, he had to do it. He had to do it. If I wouldn't have been here, it would have never have been like this. You know, nothing. Remember, if I wouldn't have been here, if I didn't exist, nothing would have ever existed. So I think that's what he's trying to say to you. I think we should take great respect with that. That's like making contact. We have made contact. Remember, if he basically just straight up said to you, he said to me, if he did not exist, nothing would exist. You should feel great to know that because we're like he is. Remember, same with you. If you did not exist, nothing would exist because the simulation proves it. It reveals that. That's the nature of the universe, to where it has to be one way. There is only one way. It can only be one way because that's just nature. We need to embrace this. We're going to be kicking off 2020 to a fucking riot because we know what is going down. We know what is going down. There is one way to exist. The only way that we exist is because we exist and because we know that we exist. Okay? That is human nature. You need to know that. Only if you know that you exist, then you exist. That is why everything exists, is because we know that we exist. Don't forget that. Remember, the only thing that allows us to exist, you have to understand this. It's part of nature. The only way to exist is if you know you exist. There is no other way to exist. That means if you did not exist, nothing would exist. You should be happy about that. That means somewhere deep down, he accepted you into the simulation. He accepted everybody, no matter. I know it's disgusting because I know that some of these people out there, I would never accept them, but that's why he's different than you, and that's why he's different than me. It's because he's accepting. He's going to accept everybody because the simulation will correct itself throughout the long run. In the end, it will be the best way for everybody to learn their lesson and learn for the better. I know it's fucking crazy. I can't fucking believe it. I'm like one of the creator's right hand men. Um, because I'm one of those people. I mean, I'm good at making up stories. How do you think we got into so much trouble? Why do you think he chose me? He's like, oh, you people think you're good at making up stories. Wait till my man comes and shows you and makes up the story of the fucking century on your ass. And what did I do? I came down here and I made up the story of the fucking century on your asses for him. I I'm not making it up. I'm just breaking the news. I'm just telling you how it is. It's called tough love, you know. It's called tough love, and it's sometimes it's more effective, and it isn't always more effective. But in this case, it was more effective, so that's what he had to do. It's 50-50. You know, it could have half the time been one way, half the time been another way. It didn't have to be like this, but this is the way it works best because the simulation reveals that every other pathway just it leads to a black hole. It leads to nowhere. It leads to a stalemate. I revealed to you what the stalemate is. You have to believe me. You have to understand that. You cannot go against my judgment when I tell you that there was no other way. When I tell you that that was destiny for man to fail that mission. That was Lucifer's problem. That's not my problem. That's not your problem. That's no one's problem but his. The only person who has a problem right now is Lucifer. He didn't have to go fucking ruining the simulation like that. Trying to fucking black hole everybody. Now he's getting a taste of his own medicine. What do you think is happening? He's getting sucked into a fucking black hole. His shit is getting split the fuck out the water, and he is flipping him. He's tripping out because he didn't think. He didn't think it was possible that he fucking knew, but he fucking knew. Holy mother. Because he didn't think there would be evidence. Because remember, in all the other infinite simulations, whether or not it were to be, because we don't know, we don't necessarily know if the other because there were a couple of potential ways that it could have happened, and let me just try to explain. Because if we get some scientists and mathematicians looking over this, I think you guys can be put on a more broader path to something that makes more valuable sense. Now, what I was just saying, damn, I almost forgot. Oh man, it's so perplexing because I know I vividly understand it, but it's a little bit more difficult to put it into words. So yeah, what I was saying is it's not our fault. It's Lucifer's fault, because there was no other way for anybody to, it was his own problem. Oh God, what was I gonna say? It was his own problem. Oh man, it was such a good little thought there too. So yeah, it was really no other way. I mean, man, I can't remember. I mean, if I could rewind the video and then to listen, but I can't because it's recording. I mean, I know I'll remember in a minute, maybe if I take a minute. But anyway, yeah, I mean, if I'll just break onto something else, kind of random. So, I mean, you got to remember that simulation. Oh, that's what I was talking about. The continuous. See, as soon as I break into something else, I remember. Okay, so the continuous. So we don't really know if the formula were, because the way he works is he probably just went with the first formula that was the most useful. So we don't necessarily know if there was something that was close behind, close, kind of close behind, or something very far behind, or something infinitely behind. So we don't really know, but we can kind of take an estimation and guess at it by looking at how dark the picture gets. So I kind of conclude that it goes into infinite, and that's where I get kind of perplexed with it, and it's pretty disgusting. So I kind of conclude it kind of breaks down to an infinite level, but it may not even necessarily be an infinite. It could just be too long of a number to where he just doesn't want to deal with it. But there's a good chance that it could go infinite to where it is a complete stalemate. So I think a lot of the simulations, probably 50% of the simulations, are just purely infinitely. There's no bargaining. There's nothing to bargain with. No deal to be made. Stalemate. You owe me more. I want more. Oh, I won't do this. Because that's how the creator works. The creator works in a way where it's like if you try to blackmail him and if you try to ransom him, he'll stalemate you and he will not strike a deal for nothing because he's gonna punish you. You think you're gonna make a deal, it's gonna be the opposite. He's gonna make you a fucking deal, and that's what we're getting at. You people aren't making no deal with him. He's making a deal with you, and it's not what you want to deal. It's what he's gonna deal. So you people are sadly mistaken. So 50% of all the simulations, there's just no deal. And that's why there's going to be punishment. It's because over 50% of the time there's no deal. Lucifer's going to say that, oh, this guy owes me. You can't stop me. If you want your property back, you owe me this. And then the creator didn't bargain with him infinite amounts of times. Why? Because Lucifer wanted too much. He wanted more. He wanted more. So of course the creator is going to deny his bargain because Lucifer's like saying, hey, I want infinite, or whatever it is that he's going to say, demand out of the hostage situation. The creator's like, no, I deny what, because it's not useful. Well, it's a stalemate. That does nothing. That does not benefit anything. So that simulation does not exist. Because we ain't going down that path. He ain't going down the path of a fucking stalemate. Do you guys think he's fucking dumb? Do you think he's stupid? Do you think he's gonna let some fucking firefly mind fucking checkmate him, stalemate him? He don't play that fucking stalemate shit. He don't fucking bargain. He don't do shit. He says, fuck you, wait till you see what I come bargain. And then he just starts watching your ass. So I already conclude 50% of the simulation is a continuous denial back and forth of bargaining. Lucifer demands this, God says denied. Lucifer demands this, God denies. Lucifer demands, denies. Infinite. I don't know what you people don't get. That's why he's known as evil, Lucifer, because he's evil. Why do you think God has to deny him? Nope, because he's evil. Anything he expects is evil. So it's no. Infinite amounts of simulation denied. I will not bargain. Sorry, Johnny, you got wrapped up and harvested like a spider grabbing a fucking insect in your history. There's no bargaining. You're gone. You're a done deal. Because that's how the creator works. It isn't useful. What would be the fucking use to just go into your guys' business when your shit is your business? That's your business. If you get involved with the wrong people, that's your fucking business. So first of all, half the simulation, he don't strike any bargain. He doesn't do nothing. He's just sitting there stalemate. There's nothing that can ever happen. Ever. Because that's his nature. He doesn't get into people's business. That's why we're dealing with such a fucking serious problem here. So then the other half of the simulations of where it goes wrong is now you're not dealing with the situations that continuously extend on infinitely. You deal with the situations that extend on for larger periods of time, which comes down to one of the straws that we are we were dealt the golden straw, because out of all the infinite straws that he knows of where it's going to lead to, of like, oh, this will go down this darkest path, or this darkest path, or this darkest path. He knows, like, oh man, this is the darkest path that will end the quickest. So this is the darkest path that ends the fastest, the quickest, that gets us through the enlightenment. This is the enlightenment, and that's where everybody's all freaking out, like, oh man, this is not the quickest path, but it is, because if he would have went, like, let's say for example, he goes to his next quickest straw, or next golden straw, but let's just go with, remember, he's pulling out the golden straw. So when we say the golden straw, we're saying the ideal straw, the one that has the most benefit. So when you're looking at, let's say, the silver straw, you're looking at the straw that doesn't have as much benefit and would be worse and would be, more unbeneficial. So I think that's how this operates, is we're at the golden straw. This is the quickest way through. And then if it were to go to the silver straw, the second best, simulation, we're dealing with potentially thousands of extra years. And we don't know. It could be 1 millisecond. And that could be his nature, to where, hey, I don't even want this to be going on 1 millisecond more. And he could measure it based on magnitude, whatever. And he could base it off, it could be 1 second greater, or even one drop greater. Or it could be let's see, because I said 1 minute, it could be 1 year. See, we don't really know the difference, but one thing's for sure, it is going to go down to that aspect of, well, what has the most potential and value. So we do know that second golden straw, which there has to be, because he can sequence everything through infinite amounts, that there's some sort of value difference in that silver straw to where it's going to be worse. And, we can kind of conclude, most likely, if we were to go down to the silver straw, based on how perplexing the whole problem of the situation is we're probably going to be dealing with larger amounts of time. And that's what I think makes it so dangerous, and why it's very critical for me to, like, do, like, scientists, people that are smarter than me, you people need to pay attention and listen to what the fuck I'm saying, because I'm not crazy, and this is what the fuck is supposed to be taught. So we're I think we're dealing with at least thousands of years of a difference. So we're dealing with mankind going on, like a caveman, blindly walking through the jungle, not knowing shit, for thousands of years longer. Thousands, and we could go on for maybe even tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions, maybe even hundreds of millions. It could even be as bad. We don't know how bad that silver straw is. And my guess, as bad as the silver straw is, I think it could be billions and billions of years longer. And I think that's why he said, fuck this silver straw. We're going with the gold straw. See what I'm saying? People, I'm just trying to make it all make sense. We're all equal. You remember, you have 1 out of infinite chance of your understandings being right. I have 1 out of infinite chance of my understandings being right. But one thing's for sure, there's two sides of the battlefield, and it's time to choose. I like that saying because I was raised on Half-Life, and the G-Man, he looks at Gordon Freeman and he says, it's time to choose. It's time for you to choose. It is time. You have two choices. One, you believe that everything matters. Or 2, you believe that nothing matters. I would like for everybody to post in the comments and vote. 1, do you believe everything matters? Or 2, do you believe nothing matters? Because it's either A or B. You either believe everything matters or you believe nothing matters. There's no in between. There's no in between because one way, it's either one way or the other. Okay. So now, remember, if you're an atheist and if you do decide to choose, all right, everything matters, you really need to start exiling your principalities because nothing you say matters when you start principalizing and speculating into atheism, because that is a principle of a belief that nothing matters. That's what it means, that nothing matters. So I mean, you can't play both sides of the fence. You can't be an atheist. You can't believe that nothing matters and then jump onto the other side and then just be like, well, then shit matters. Okay? It's either A or B. Either everything matters or nothing matters. I mean, the universe answers the question. I mean, everything fucking matters. It's a no fucking brainer. It's a trick question. It's a joke. I'm fucking joking with everybody. There's no way to answer fucking B unless you're ignorant, stupid, crazy. To say that nothing fucking matters. Everything matters. There's no other way to perceive it. How can I prove everything matters? Because what it also means, another context of like what it means, like when somebody says everything matters, is everything is expected. Since where do we not see that everything has an expectation? Everything is expected. The sun, it is expected. It matters. How can you say that the sun doesn't matter? If the sun didn't matter, nothing would exist, because if it didn't exist, that's what you're saying. Oh, the sun doesn't matter. So you're saying that if the sun doesn't exist, everything's going to be the same. That's what it means when someone says nothing matters, is everything's always going to be the same. Nothing's matter. Nothing's expected. It's illogical. It's just very illogical to think nothing matters or nothing's even going to matter. Nothing matters. I mean, when everything matters, everything matters. Everything is expected. I mean, does this lighter matter? It's a good question. How is it that this lighter matters? It matters. It is expected. Why? How is this lighter expected? That's probably a better way to question it. Well, how is this lighter expected? How does it become expected? Why is it expected? Okay. Why is it expected? Because people need to use it. So does it matter? It does matter because people need to use it. So when you say, hey, lighters don't matter, they do matter. People need to use lighters. Guys, this is not kindergarten. I'm done with this video.